As the Christmas countdown ticks closer, travelers are scrambling, heeding advice to reconsider their holiday travel plans as winter weather brings the threat of delays and cancellations to airport hubs stretching from Chicago to New York.
I'm from Texas, yes, heading home to Canada, but flying into Buffalo, and was told I need to change my flight. I'm supposed to leave tomorrow.
Now, as she leaves Dallas Love Field, Dawn Scott hopes she'll avoid getting stuck during a layover in Chicago in hopes of making it home in plenty of time for the holidays.
I'm thinking, why am I going back to Canada? But you know what? Canada handles it better than Texas for the cold.
While Thursday and Friday are expected to be the busiest for airports, yesterday the TSA screened more than 2 million people nationwide.
Coming from the airport yesterday, it was packed. Even when my parents came to pick me up, it was just hard to move around at all. So yeah, definitely a lot of traveling going on.
AAA projects this could be the third busiest holiday season on record as travel continues to rebound from the pandemic, with nearly 9 million Texans planning to drive or fly for the holidays.
This is our first time traveling in 4 years. We're from Germany, so we're excited.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
As they do, AAA encourages travelers to remain weather aware.
If your travel plans are flexible and you believe weather could impact them, go ahead and try to make changes if you can now. Don't wait, because the longer you wait, the more likely you are to either be stuck or you're going to be delayed.
A swift response Thursday evening as crews pick up the pieces outside Autos of Dallas. Parts of the shop's sign scattered on the ground after a powerful storm ripped through.
I've never seen wind that strong.
David Mullins is the general manager at this Irving car dealership. He says his team was watching the weather closely Thursday. They went outside just for a moment to get a closer look.
We decided to get back inside, and as soon as we did, the facade came down and crashed up against the windows.
Mullins says there is likely damage to the roof and ceiling and at least one car. The storms Thursday produced strong winds in Irving and heavy rain in Fort Worth.
This was awful.
Alyssa Falon left work to find her car parked along West 7th, surrounded by floodwater. She says the area does experience floods, but
Not this bad. I've never seen it flood this bad. No.
as parts of North Texas clean up, people remain grateful.
Just glad to be alive.
It wasn't much worse.
Exactly when the tennis court is the end, right there you have like an empty field.
Silvio Mokotov is pointing to the spot a block from his home where it happened Monday night.
It happened in a few seconds.
Following behind is his 11-year-old daughter and a friend were walking their dog, Rusty. Rusty saw a coyote, escaped from his leash, and ran right toward it.
I just heard the dog screaming like really, really, really bad.
Severely wounded, Rusty ran into the nearby street, and that's where the saga took a tragic turn.
And then as soon as we fallen on the middle of the street, a car hit them right away.
There was nothing they could do to save their beloved pet. Just hours earlier and a few blocks away,
we were sort of worried because a lot of kids and, families walk and jog.
Debbie Riley and her son Nick spotted this coyote, presumably the same one, and snapped these pictures.
And he was just sniffing around, wasn't scared, wasn't hesitant of anything. A car stopped, actually honked on him. He kind of looked up and then just went about his business.
A spokesperson for the city of McKinney says it's received a few calls about a coyote in the area, possibly injured, but hasn't been able to locate the animal.
I believe the city have to take care of that.
Mokotov says Rusty died protecting his family.
I have no question about that. That's for sure. He was a complete hero.
He says his young daughter has a hard time understanding that. In McKinney, Scott Gordon, NBC5.
This has been Officer R.J. Hudson's vantage point for much of his career. One he wasn't sure he'd ever see again after a brush with death almost 6 years ago while on duty with the Grapevine Police Department.
I have never worked a crash with somebody with the severity of injuries that I have that they're living to tell about it.
He's since recovered and is back on full duty with a renewed sense of purpose.
Told them about my scenario, which they knew a little bit of.
10 years ago, he met Crystal Scott and her husband Chris, a fellow motorcycle officer, at a law enforcement event much like the one here in Grand Prairie.
I couldn't have gotten through it without them, and Chris and Crystal were a big part of that.
Today, it is Crystal who could use community support. Her battle with lupus and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome left her wheelchair bound. She's in need of a van compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act to live her life functionally as a wife and mother of 5. Hudson had an idea to raise money through a GoFundMe page and spread the word at this year's motorcycle rodeo.
It's very common to hear, hey, let me know if you need anything. And this is that.
Wheelchair vans can cost tens of thousands of dollars. The hope that fellow motorcycle officers and the community at large will show up the way they did for him.
Did you see I tied James? 13-6-7. It hits you in the heartstrings, as it should if they're a true friend. I definitely love the family and I want to do everything I can to help them out.
Crystal's genetic condition is known to greatly diminish life expectancy, but Hudson says it's faith that allows him to envision her in the van she desperately needs and defying the odds.
That's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited about that.
In Grand Prairie, Candace Sweat, NBC5.
Encore crews working 16-hour shifts trying to put back up what Mother Nature has brought down.
Looks like it's all been tugged that way.
Ice buildup on trees and power lines causing problems all around DFW.
I see everybody else in the neighborhood don't have it. So we are all in the same pool.
In Irving, Saeed Zaidi has been without electricity since about 8:30 Thursday morning.
I have not been able to connect to the power company because their phones are busy.
Busy handling calls like this. In southwest Arlington, it appears a tree branch snapped onto a power line, causing it to smolder. In Duncanville, Encore blocked off an area where a line fell. Knowing crews are out doing their best gives Zaidi some reassurance that his power will be back on soon.
I'm hoping. I have seen some trucks coming and going.
I checked with Encore and I'm told his neighborhood had an ice storm related outage around 8:30 a.m. and was repaired around 5:20 p.m. But something caused it to go out again and they're working on it. Until that happens, Zaidi is layering up and has a backup plan.
I have my car, so if worst come to worst, we'll go back. That's a backup. We'll start it and sit there with the heating on for a little while and come back in.
I'm getting everybody in Texas here together to celebrate car culture and bring everyone together, man.
It's probably the most incredible feeling on the planet. Getting the revving and feeling it in your chest.
I love cars. My dad too. He told me about this event, and we're here.
This is celebrating everything. It's every make, every model, and just getting everyone together and celebrating the whole thing, man.
The thing with Taste of Tokyo is that it's just not just JDM. It's modified Ferraris, modified Lamborghinis. There's an R8 just down, if you go down that way and you look to your left, there's Supras. Everything's a mixture.
Paul wouldn't have understood what he meant to so many people. He would have been blown away by this, frankly.
Let's go, let's go.
I love fast cars. Yeah, most definitely.
I got to walk around and see some pretty cool cars, and so I actually have a car club that's here today.
This has been a huge part of my childhood, and so to be able to share it with everybody else and bring people together that have a common interest is just a dream come true.